I have a gift for you. My third book, The Intentional Design Year, is out, and I want to give you access to read it. To get the digital copy for 1 month for free, go to www.designsuitecourses.com/intentional. Make sure and do the www. Because for some reason, that's the only way it will work. Anyway, this will get you free access to read the book for an entire month. If you love it, you can always go to Amazon and get the whole book plus the prompt journal. Welcome to the Make and Design podcast. I'm Carina Gardner, and today we're going to talk about clarity over creativity. Now, as designers, we love being creative. We love making new things, putting them together differently, changing and fixing typography and color, and trying to do things beautiful and new. Often, one of the things that we overlook is the idea of clarity, which is actually the main job of a designer. Our job as a designer is to be organized, to create visuals that are easy to understand, that people can get the information they need out of quickly so that they can take action. And this can apply to a lot of different things. So for example, if I have a poster wanting to get people to come to a concert that I am throwing, then I am going to want to make sure that the focal point is the concert, maybe the concert name or something related to what that concert is, something that's going to drive people there. And then, of course, all the information underneath of it. So the date, when it will be happening, how to buy a ticket, where it is located, right? Location matters. If I'm in Salt Lake City and this concert is being held in Chicago, it might not be as appealing to me as if I were in Chicago, right? And so every single bit of information matters. There was some research done by the Nielsen-Norman Group. They did a number of user experience and behavior research studies, but their studies consistently showed that users preferred clarity over creativity when completing tasks. Clear labels outperform clever ones. Now, how can you use this information in the way that you are designing? Well, when we're designing, we do want to make pretty things, right? I've seen lots of headlines or taglines for designers that are about making pretty or beautiful things. There's nothing wrong with that. That is one of our jobs as designers. We are here to make things visually appealing. But really, the number one thing we're trying to do is to make things clear, to convey a message. I would call map makers early designers, right? Illustrators that were important in 100, 200 years ago were medical and scientific illustrators, right? Who were drawing what a heart actually looked like, what organs actually looked like, what different animals and plants looked like in nature. And those realities that were being drawn helped us understand the world around us even more. It brought clarity to what existed in our world. And we're doing the exact same thing. But so often I hear of designers and artists really focus on, one, their own style, and two, making things pretty. And I think the thing and the purpose of this particular podcast episode is to help you understand that beautiful things are important. They are. They're very important because there is a psychology where people truly believe that things that are really beautifully designed actually work better. It's actually not true, but it's a really interesting principle of design where if something like a phone is very sleek, it's designed very beautifully, the layout is really gorgeous, we make the assumption that it must work better than the design that doesn't look quite as beautiful. Wrong, but a psychology thing that we have to be aware of. And so we do have to make things beautiful. But first and foremost, we have to make things far more clear. So I always laugh about, in particular, the doorway where it feels like you're trying to push it when you're actually supposed to pull the handle. That's actually a design mistake. That's not a human mistake. So a lot of times humans will be like, they'll push on a door and they're like, why is this not opening? And then we kind of feel dumb, like, oh, we should have known we were supposed to pull on the handle, not push the handle. It's actually a design mistake, because if the obvious thing isn't that we should pull on the doorway versus push on it, then we've done something wrong. We've labeled it incorrectly. We've put the markers, or the way we've laid it out has been incorrect. So we want to be really smart about it and make things as clear as possible. As you're designing, as you're moving forward in designing, and I don't know what you're working on. You might be, a lot of people who come to me are in surface pattern design. They're looking at scrapbooking papers. They're looking at fabrics. They are doing wallpaper design. There are all kinds of wonderful designs in the surface pattern world. Or maybe you're in crafting or 3D design. You're doing die cuts, laser files, 3D printing. Or perhaps you are doing flat or printable items like planners or booklets, workbook, content frameworks. Any of these things that you are designing, you should always, 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 always think, number one, is what I'm making very clear? Do people know what they're buying? And by the way, this really, really matters also with previews. If you have a preview for the item, that means people can see the image for it. The more you can make it very obvious what you're trying to sell, the easier it is for someone to make money from it, right? So clarity first. And then secondly, we want to make sure it's very beautiful, that it makes sense for the person who would want to purchase it. So let me give you an example of this that recently happened in Design Suite. I was looking over one of our fabulous designers' stuff, and her stuff is really beautiful. And she said she hadn't sold very much. And I said, let's take a look at your shop. When we went to her shop, it became glaringly obvious why she hadn't sold that much. And it was because all of her mock-ups showed her designs from very far away. And I recently was just building a whole bunch of mock-ups for myself and used this exact principle. I just hadn't really thought about it before I'd seen her shop. And that is, every design is front and focal, front and center, and it's the focal point. So I can see it really well, and then I can see how it's being used, and that's how it's made beautiful. If you aren't showing it well, instead you're showing the girl's t-shirt really well, or the flower arrangement with the mug really well, instead of really honing in and focusing on your design on that mug or your design on that t-shirt, then you've missed the entire point, because the clarity was in the preview selling the design work, not in selling the shirt or not in selling the mug. The picture is really pretty, and so we tend to try to include everything in it, versus coming in and focusing in on the thing that actually matters there. And previews tend to be a place that people really do get things wrong, because they'll be like, I'm making such beautiful design work and it's not selling well. And we see there's like a number of points, and preview is one of them, where people have missed the point entirely. So I'm really excited for you as we go into this new year and all the wonderful things that you're about to create. I cannot recommend enough that you check out how you are bringing clarity to your design work. How are we bypassing making what is beautiful, which, by the way, just about anybody can do. Anyone can make something that's beautiful. I know that sounds crazy, but I think a lot of us depend on our really good eye to make sure that we can make things beautiful. I would say that the better designer is the one who makes things clear, the one who thinks like a business owner, who's like, hey, how do I make sure that whoever sees this knows exactly what I'm selling, what the design is, or what the information needs to be? Because that is how we build great design work.
Want to hang out more? Go to designsweetcourses.com/free to get our weekly freebies and patterns, die cut files, and more. Can't wait to see you there.